Many spiritual practices ask us to do something. Pray, meditate, fast, worship. But Ramana Maharshi, one of the most revered sages of the past century, asked a different question. Who is it that needs to do these things? He called this the direct path, which, rather than being some kind of religion or philosophy, is a direct investigation into something that we've taken for granted our entire lives, the feeling of I. We all have a sense of I. I am tired, I am making this video, I am successful, I am a failure. But Ramana Maharshi said that this sense of I is what causes all of our clinging and our suffering. We treat it like a solid foundation, but if we look closely, we'll see that it's just a thought. It's actually the first thought, the I thought. Every other thought that we have, whether it's based in the future or the past, whether it's a worry or a joy, all gets built on top of this I. Without the I, then these thoughts have nowhere to land. He said that the whole idea of individuality is just the I thought manifesting in different ways. So the ego, the intellect, the memory are all just different forms of the I thought. So how do we find freedom from clinging and suffering? Well, Ramana Maharshi said that it was through Atma-Vichara, or self-inquiry, which is an incredibly simple practice, but at the same time it can be very difficult to do. Whenever a thought arises, whether it's a worry about work or one of those memories of a mistake that we made ages ago, don't try to push it away. Instead, ask the question, who is it that's having this thought? And the answer to that question is obvious, it's me. But then, the final question, who am I? Now, don't try to answer this question with words, because we could say, I am awareness, or maybe you'd say, I am a soul, or something like that. But that's not the point, because that is just adding more words into the situation. What we're actually trying to do is point the awareness back into the self, and find out what is the source of these thoughts. And as we trace the I back to the source, there can be an interesting experience. The sense of I starts to dissolve. You realize that the me you've been trying to protect doesn't even exist at all. What's left is the self. And I don't mean your personality or your name. I mean the vast, open presence that was there before you were born and will be there after you die. Ramana said that by attempting to destroy the ego by anything other than self-inquiry was like a thief dressing up as a policeman in order to catch himself. Now, what did he mean by this? So in meditation, we are often focusing on an object of focus, like the breath or sounds or the sight of a candle flame. By focusing on something like that, we are maintaining this sense of self and other. And when there is subject and object, it means there is no self-realization. So if you are focusing on the breath, then that focus on the breath is a thought form. So ask yourself, who is it that meditates on the breath? He actually said, do not meditate, be. Do not think that you are, be. But to me, meditation and mindfulness are still very important parts of the process, because if we're not an enlightened sage like Ramana Maharshi, then maybe we will struggle to maintain an awareness of the sense of I am at all times. And mindfulness is useful because what it is paying attention without judgment to whatever is going on in the present moment. And that's especially important in the world that we live in today, when we all have phones and social media and very short attention spans. Like, how are we supposed to maintain awareness of the sense of I am when we're constantly distracted by thoughts? So the more we meditate, the more we practice being mindful, the more we will be present and able to bring our attention to the sense of self. For example, I was just out walking Rocky before making this video, and a lot of the time I was, fully present and paying attention to the sensations of walking and the beautiful scenery around me. But then other times I was lost in thought, thinking I shouldn't have come this way, it's too muddy, and I'm gonna have to give Rocky a bath when I get home. And also thinking about what I'm going to say in this video, because I knew that's what I was going to do when I get home. Then I would realize that I was lost in thought, and I would bring my attention back to the present. And that is essentially what meditation is. Practicing being more mindful, noticing when we become lost in thought, and bringing our attention back to the present. The repetition of doing that over and over again is essentially what meditation is when we practice mindfulness. And then, once we bring our attention back to the present, we're in a place where we can start focusing on the sense of I am. So when I was out walking, I would come back to the present and then ask myself, who is it that has the thought that I shouldn't have come this way because it's too muddy? Who is it that's going to take Rocky home and give him a bath? Who is it that's going to be making this video? Who am I? So mindfulness and meditation can set the stage for self-inquiry. We can start by taking a comfortable seat, taking a few deep breaths, then bringing the attention to the body to ground ourselves. Then bring the attention to the breath or to the sounds around us, and just let the attention rest there. And after doing that for a while, we can broaden our awareness to include everything that's going on. So all sensations, every feeling, every sound, and then rest in that open awareness. And then as we rest in that openness, then a thought will eventually come to mind. And when that happens, we can think, who is it that's having that thought? Who am I? Ramana Maharshi says that the thought, who am I, destroys all other thoughts. And then, like a stick being used to stir a funeral pyre, the thought, who am I itself, will also eventually be destroyed. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't think, how can I fix this? Think, who am I? And then rest in the silence that follows. Douglas Harding also explored the direct path with a practice called the Headless Way. If you want to learn more about that, then watch this video next.